All right, hi guys. So this is the video that you are expected, that you are supposed that and you are forced to watch as a replacement or as a substitution of week three class. Okay, so why are we going? Why are we taking the class into into an asynchronous mode so that you can enjoy your raya and then I can enjoy my raya? Okay, even though I don't really do raya, but yeah, why not? Okay, so now we have talked about, what proposal is like. What do you need to know about proposal? How is proposal going to be written? What are the structure in a proposal that you need to have? So this is a continuation of that. But if I remember correctly, during our class in week two, I did mention that the kind of English language that you are going to use in writing your proposal is not the English that you always use. Okay? So the English language that you are going to use in your proposal writing is called business English. I don't have time to cover what is business English, so I'm hoping and I am suggesting that you go to the internet. You can search on you can search using Google, or you can find a clip in YouTube that discusses about what is business English is all about. Okay. And then I also remember, telling you the different style of a language that exists. So I remember I was using Korean dramas or Korean films, because I did say if you watch enough Korean dramas and Korean movies, you would know and you would watch a scene, or you would read the subtitles that the character would say, "Hey, why are you talking informally to me? I am your elders, or I am your seniors." So that is when I learned, in Korea, right? In Korean language, you are using certain style, or you are using certain registers of the language according to your seniority in terms of age, according to whether or not you are close to that person. Okay, so if you are talking to a senior and you are not close to that person, then you need to use certain kind of language. And when you are talking to your peers, you are using certain kind of language. And when you are talking to someone who is way elder, okay, someone that is considered elderly to you, then you know you need to use certain language. Okay, so the whole point of that example is not trying to focus on the Korean dramas or Korean films. I am focusing on the different kind or different styles of languages. So same goes like in English. And in fact, if I remember correctly and if I know correctly, when you are talking to the royals, you need to use certain vocabulary, certain way of saying things. So, yes, using that concept, I am telling you today in this particular video that the language that you are using to write your proposal is a very formal, very business-like. Okay? So it's not like the English language that you use when you are texting your friends. And there shouldn't be any slang, any dialect, any, I would say, any short forms. Words like slay, words like vibes, words like reels, words like, sass are not supposed to be in your written proposal. Okay, so let's start with this. What I planned for today, we're going to talk a bit more. We are going to discuss on language features and expressions in your proposal writing. That's number one. Number two, I plan to I plan to brief you on your assessment, okay? Because I remember in week one, I did not explain in details how the proposal will be like. So I will just give you a very basic idea. So today, but it's not going to be in the same video. It will be in a different video, okay? So the next video will talk about assessment brief and the rubrics and also tasks of the week. Okay, task of the week. Cool. Now let's proceed. Okay, so the content in this particular the content in this particular slide will be language features and language expressions. Okay, so at the end of this video, you should know the language features that are going to be used in your proposal and language expressions that you are going to write in your proposal. Okay, now let's start with language features. There are 5 language features. Number 1 is the formal tone. Number 2 is conciseness. Number 3, persuasive language. Number 4 will be coherence. And number 5 would be justification and supporting evidence. Okay, now formal tone. Okay, why formal tone? Okay, so you need to formal tone is used or is applied when you are writing your proposal because it shows professionalism, it shows a tone of objective, and it's also avoiding you from using any slang, any contractions, and any casual language. Okay, because this is professional, because this is business. So contractions here refers to don't or isn't or won't instead of do not, instead of is not, instead of will not. Okay, so those are contractions. I know some of English teachers back in school, they term that as short forms. It's not short forms, it's contractions. Okay, why is it important for you to use formal tone in your proposal writing? Because it demonstrates seriousness, it demonstrates how critical your proposal is, how how important the proposal is, and also, you use formal tone in writing your proposal because it's a sign of you showing respect to your audience. Miss, show. Why audience, miss? We are not performing anything. We are just writing things. Okay. Yes. Okay. Yes, you are writing things. But your proposal, right? Your proposal. Let's put this concept into a real world. Let's say you are writing a proposal and you're submitting the proposal. So the proposal will have a reader or probably will have readers to read your proposal. So the reader of your proposal or the panels that are going to judge your proposal is termed as the audience. Okay, so the audience here on the slide refers to people that are going to consider, that are going to read, that are going to whether or not approve your proposal. Okay, now let's take a look at examples of formal tone and informal tone. Okay. We recommend implementing the proposed system to improve operational efficiency. So by looking at the statement, it sounds really serious, it sounds really boring, I know, but it's very professional. Correct? Okay. So informal, we think it will be cool to use this system. You use this kind of statement when you are commenting to a TikTok reel maybe, or an Instagram reel maybe, or yeah, you don't do Facebook, right? Your age doesn't do your people, the generation of your people do not use Facebook. So yeah, it's TikTok and Instagram maybe. Oh yeah, X, I forgot. So yeah, informal is the kind of thing you use when you are commenting on social media, but not for your proposal writing. Okay, that's moving on to the next thing. Wait, oh, sorry. Now, keeping it concise. Okay, I would say one of the obvious feature or one of the important features for proposal writing, it has to be concise, it has to be compact, it has to be short. It doesn't need to have a very flowery kind of language, because this is not short story and this is not poetry. It has to be very straightforward, it has to be very direct, and it has to be very clear, so that people that read, or panels that read your proposal, do not have confusion or do not have different ideas or different understanding when they read your proposal. Okay, so how do you keep your proposal concise? Number one, you need to limit the jargon. Okay, what does it mean by jargon here? Jargon refers to technical words that only you and people in your field understand. That is jargon. Okay, for example, I come from the linguistic and literature field. So the jargon that only my people, okay, let's say literature jargon, okay, literature jargon that only my people know. I wouldn't say that outside people do not know, and unless they are, they read things, okay, then that would be different. But for people who are not familiar with literature, words like catharsis, words like epiphany, do not ring a bell to them. So those are jargons from literature. I'm pretty sure you know some of jargons from your field of study. Okay, so yeah, feel free to share with me when the next time we meet. Okay, oh, and unnecessary details. Unnecessary details, basically, you explain and explain and explain on the same thing again and again without without giving any added value. There's no different thing. It's just that the same thing, but you said it again and again. So yeah, that is unnecessary details. Okay. Use bullet points where possible for clarity, because when you use bullet points, you are only highlighting important points. You don't go into details that are not supposed to even be telling. Okay, keep paragraph short and to the point. Right, remember, people in the business, right, they don't really have time to sit and read a long uh essay. They don't. Okay, now let's move on. Persuasive language. Okay, let me just be frank and honest to you guys. I would say this persuasive language is the most difficult part that for you to have in your proposal. Why? Because, reflecting on business proposal of the previous semester students, um, I would say 10%, right? 10% out of that I taught three classes of 31, 32. So averagely, how many Okay lah, almost 100 lah, almost 100. Okay? Yeah, or the total of the three classes, almost 100. Only 10% have persuasive language in their proposal. The rest are just explanation without any part feel that when I read the proposal, I don't feel convinced. I don't feel persuaded by you. So hence the reason why I think, you know, persuasive language to have persuasive language in your proposal writing will be the most difficult. Um, yeah, that's because I think Asian doesn't really persuade, right? We don't really persuade. We are just more on accepting. Okay. Now, what does it mean by persuasive? Okay, what does it mean by persuasive language? Okay, I'm going to give you an example. It's very It's a personal example. Okay, this is very true to me. I will experience this every single time, every single time. Even though I try to be wiser, I try to be cleverer, but I fail. Okay. Um, in my opinion, right, many jobs out there, one of the most persuasive, one of the most convincing jobs, or not, sorry, one of the most, okay, sorry, out of the many jobs out there, okay, there are a few lah, I would say, but one of the many jobs that really require, okay, really require you to know how to persuade and how to convince people, is obviously sales representative. You can call them as sales representative, you can call them sales assistant, um, or sales commissioner, whatever it is, but I am comfortable using sales representative. All right. Okay. So this is what happened. And why do I say, and me trying to tell you, sales representative has the best persuasive and convincing skills ever. Okay. Now, I am a member, and quite regular, to Innisfree. Innisfree is a Korean skincare. Okay, so I believe if some of you are, a customer or regular client to Korean skincare, you know where I'm heading with this story. Okay, so as Innisfree members, of course, one of the perks is that, every single purchase you will get points, and then after a certain time you can redeem your points, and then probably most of the time I will be using it as to, minus my bills. Okay, so this is the thing, This is the thing with me and my visit to Innisfree. So most of the time, okay, most of the time when I need to go to Innisfree to get my skincare, I will plan. Okay. For example, that particular trip or that particular visit, I just need to buy a serum and vitamin C. That's it. Miss, you're using Innisfree Korean skincare, but why is that your skin do not look like the Korean artist? Well, number one, I don't have the DNA. Number two, I don't really, I just use the skincare. I don't do any other treatment like plastic surgery or whatnot. Obviously, my skin will not be that good lah. Okay, I am just the basic. I'm not saying, of course, my skins are not flawless lah. No, I'm not. I am not feel attacked. I'm just telling you, okay. But at least my skin doesn't go worse. Okay, coming back. Okay, so usually before I step my foot into Innisfree, I will plan in my mental, right? It's just mental planning. Okay, so this today, I will just need to buy serum and then vitamin C. That's it. Two items, right? Two items. I can just, put the two items into my handbag. That's it. Okay. So, right, okay. And I notice, all these sales representative of Innisfree, they are always bubbly, they are always cheerful. I think because or they really like or they enjoy their job. So that's why they have certain attitude. They have very positive attitude. And in fact, I have become sort of like buddy to certain sales representative of Innisfree. I know the name, they also recognize me, and because they recognize me, they know how to, they know how to persuade me, they know how to coax me, they know how to coax means like pujo, okay? Okay, now I was like, oh, okay. So usually they will greet you, and then they will say, okay, may I help you? What do you need today? So I will just, oh, okay, I need a serum, and then I need vitamin C, and that's it. Okay, so yeah, okay. So I got my serum and I got vitamin C, correct? Okay, and then I go to the counter. I go to I approach the cashier because I want to pay. And then, okay, this is when everything happens at the cashier. Okay, and then you know what the cashier would say? Hey, miss, this is your total bill. You know what? If you add 30 ringgit, only 30 ringgit, buy anything lah. You just need to add 30 ringgit. I will give you this set, this one set, and this one set. I was like, never mind lah. I just need these two things. Alah, miss, come on lah. It's just 30 ringgit. Oh, okay, you know what? Okay, if you add 30 ringgit, I give you another, one more set. So, you know what? With 30 ringgit, you will have these three sets. Okay, and because you're a member, and then it's our weekend promotion. And then sometimes they will push their luck even more. Okay, but you know what? If you add 50 ringgit, you will get this bag and you will get another two sets. And then that's when, I became weak and I was like under a spell or something. So I will just, okay, you know what? My budget is like this. Like I try to decline, I try to reject, I always say, okay, but my budget is like this. And then they will say, Alah, miss, you have points and you are like you are our member. Come on, lah, you just redeem your point and then you add a bit more and then we give you all of this. You know what? At the end of the day, of course, I succumb to the persuasion. I was weak. I failed. I failed. And when I step out of the industry, unconsciously, I carried a paper bag that's full of Innisfree products, Innisfree items. Yes, yes, I am that person, and I do not know. I really, really, what do you call this again? Impressed with all this sales representative skill of making you buy the things that you don't need. Okay, now enough story, end of story. Coming back to persuasive language. Why do you need to have persuasive language in your proposal, guys? Because you need to convince your reader. You need to convince the panel that are going to consider whether or not your proposal going to be into the shortlist, whether or not your proposal worth their time, whether or not they will be, like me, they will be pursued by you. Okay. Why is it important? Because persuasive language helps you persuade the audience. Remember, when you are when you are writing a proposal, you are applying for something. And most of the time you are applying for some amount of money to be given to you so that you can fix the problem. So, and you have to also understand when you are applying for the money, it's not only you applying for the money. There are many hundreds of people applying. So how can you make your proposal outshadow everybody else's proposal? By using persuasive language in your writing of proposal. Okay, so now let's take a look at the examples of persuasive language. How do you use persuasive language in your proposal? Okay. This proposal demonstrates clear benefits for the organization. By adopting this solution, we will significantly enhance operational performance. So if you focus on the bold words, you would realize that with all of these words, right, it shows that how important and how relevant your proposal is. Okay, now let's move on. Coherence in writing. Okay, if this is your first time looking at coherence, but I believe it shouldn't be, because in UHMB 2132, you should be discussing and learning about coherence. Okay, so let just have a revision of coherence. Coherence is the technique of writing, or the way of you writing in such a way it flows. It flows and it makes people easy to understand. Okay. Same concept, okay? Same concept, different instant. Coherence in drama and or coherence in film. So if you realize when you watch film, from one frame to another frame, from one scene to another scene, everything is connected. Okay, now let's just use the example of Korean series Glory. I don't watch Korean series that much, but I do not know how did I bump into Glory, and I love Glory so much. So if you watch Glory, and if you haven't, please find time to watch Glory. I think Glory makes me see a different side of humanities, a perspective where, oh, okay, yeah, we should have this, we shouldn't do this. Okay. So in Glory, right, the main character, right, the main character turned out to be very cold, very heartless, very indifferent, very strong because of what happened to her in her earlier years, which was during her secondary schools, right? So she was bullied by, people bullied her just because she's poor, just because she doesn't have a father, if I'm not mistaken. So she was bullied to the core and brutally. Oh my God, I couldn't brain why people could be such heartless to do such thing to another human beings. I mean, just because she's poor. But okay lah, that's the very reason why, different people exist, right? And I believe that thing is a real story in Korea. And in fact, I believe that also happens in Malaysia. So if you take a look, all the all the plots, all the episodes are connected to one another. And that is what we call coherence. The idea flows. You understand, oh, this happens because of this. This is the reason of this. So that is coherence. Okay. Now, coherence is writing number one in terms of key point. So your key point ensure your proposal flows logically from one section to another section. Sorry, wait. Uh, okay. So number two, logical flow. Logical flow is the whole idea of coherence. Okay. Um, each point should logically follow and build upon the previous one. Okay. And then transitions. Okay. Okay, wait. Okay, right. Transitions. Okay, transition. This is also another thing that you should learn, or you should have learned. Sorry, you should have learned in your UHLD 21-22. Transitions. Transition here refers to transitional markers. Okay, and okay, let's just a quick revision. Transitional markers are used for you to connect one idea to another idea, one sentence to another sentence, one paragraph to another paragraph. And then transitional markers have different functions, right? There's a function to add ideas, there's function for to show examples, there are function to show causes, to show effects, there are functions to show opposite idea. So because remember, this is writing, proposal writing. So you need to use transitional markers or transitional signals, even though it's different name but referring to the same thing. So like on the screen that you can see, example, sorry, examples like in addition, furthermore, nevertheless, however, that kind of thing. Okay, next, another thing that you need to have in order for you to okay, another thing that you need to do in order for you to have the coherence in your writing is that you need to see the focus. Okay, what does it mean by stay focused? You need to stick to the main idea without straying into irrelevant details. Okay, remember your, okay, so if let's say is A and your solution is B, and you are justifying B using C. So you need to stick with that storyline. You cannot change, you cannot improvise. Okay? So, yes. Next, justification and supporting evidence. Okay, guys. I think I made things clear in class, in our during our week 2 class, that I will be zooming in, I will be highlighting, and I will be focusing on your justification of your solution. Why? Because that is the part where you should have your X factor. That is the part that makes you you know, that makes you different, that is the part that shows you know better than anybody else who are applying for the money, for the grant. Okay, we go. So when you are justifying, what do you need to have in your justification? So justification means you are providing reasons, you are providing data, you are providing facts. For what? To support, for supporting your claims. Okay. Now, why is it important for you to justify? Why is it important for you to justify your solution? Because it will make your proposals look credible. It will strengthen your argument. It will make your proposal outshadow, or it will make your proposal looks that you know your thing, you know the real deal, you are the expert. Okay, now let's take a look at the examples of how you are justifying your solution, right? So, according to a study by XYZ resource, companies that implemented this system saw a 30% increase in efficiency. Now, what is the trick of this particular statement? The trick is in that 30%. You know, when you have that percentage, it's a real deal. It's a solid evidence that says, okay, you know, the solution is is going to work. This solution that you are suggesting is going to work. And most of the time, numbers, they won't lie. Numbers do not lie. So when you have this sort of very solid data to tell, you know, your audience that, yeah, this has happened, people use the solution and it works for them. Okay, all right, now let's move on to language expressions. Okay, guys, please, please, by all means, okay, by all means, use these language expressions when you are writing your proposal. There will be no issue of plagiarism. I will not be accusing, I will not accuse you, hey, you copy paste this you copy paste this expression from somewhere. No, 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 no. This is a common template for anybody who is writing a proposal to use. So please. And then if you notice, the language expression has different function for different section. Okay, what do I mean by that? So when you are writing your introduction, there's a certain language expression that you are advised and recommended to use. When you are writing problem statement, these are the language expressions that you are recommended to use. Okay, propose solution, justification, and then when you are talking about benefits and impact, conclusion, calls to action. Okay, right? Okay, let's just skip this part because we are going to do this in week 5, the practice part. Okay, and that's it. Okay, so, um, yes, okay. That is the end for the input. All right, let's see in the next video. All right, ciao. Don't forget, yeah, next video, there will be 2 video for this week. Watch all the videos.